Homeowner posts a video of a pizza delivery guy complaining about a 25% tip on a $20 order. So, how much would you tip? Now, 25% is a pretty darn good tip. Now, some people might say, like, well, I mean, a $5 tip may not seem like that much, but the thing is like, they're already paying a good amount for the pizza itself, like the order plus fees plus taxes, and then having the $5 tip is not a bad tip. When you also keep in mind that like more than half of the people who order takeout don't actually tip, which is insane to me. But that does happen where some of these drivers don't actually get tipped. But also, what many people do not know is that a lot of pizza delivery places actually pay their delivery drivers a decent wage, right? Like per hour wage, higher than minimum wage. I believe some of them get paid like maybe 10 or even $12 per hour. Plus, you add on tips to that. That maybe if it averages out, maybe they get like $15 to $20 per hour in terms of like what they actually make after everything's said and done, not including like what is taken out for like taxes and all that kind of stuff, right? But let's check this out. So, a woman in Texas shared a doorbell camera interaction between herself and a pizza delivery man who was so dissatisfied with his $5 tip that he cursed her out. So, in a video posted to her TikTok, Lacey Percival asked, "So, how much should I be tipping for a $20 pie?" implying that she had given her delivery driver a 25% tip on a $20 order. And in the video, captured by the family's Vivint camera, a woman answers the door as her dog runs out to greet the delivery driver. So let's actually check out this video. On, let's see if the volume. Oh, yeah. What? Go max volume. What the hell are you doing? Okay.
I just want to say it's a nice house for a $5 tip.
You're welcome.
I just want to say it's a nice house for a $5 tip.
Like, isn't that kind of crazy though? It's like this guy is implying, like, oh, because you're actually wealthy, that means that I'm entitled to more of your money because you're doing well. What? It's like that like literally does not make any sense, right? For example, let's say that you pulled up to a restaurant, right? And a Lamborghini, right? You sit down at the restaurant, order the exact same food that someone else does, gets the exact same type of service that this other person does, both cost $20, but because you like showed up in a Lamborghini, you're supposed to give like a 50% tip, an 80% tip, like just because you're rich? Like what? That is so beyond stupid. Like the thing that bothers me the most about this is like the guy basically kind of comes off like he's entitled. Like, oh, so what? You're entitled to more money just because other people are doing well? It's crazy. So the man wearing khaki shorts and a dark t-shirt pulls the pizza box out of its protected box and hands it to the woman, who says thank you. The delivery man then said, "You're welcome. I just want to say it's a nice house for a $5 tip." The woman, relatively shocked by the man's comments, said, "You're welcome," to which he responded, "F you," and walked away. Online viewers of the video, which Percival posted to her TikTok account, were overwhelmingly supportive of the tipper in this case. "Tipping is out of control. 5 on 20 is more than enough," wrote one user. Others encouraged Percival to get in touch with DoorDash, the service she had used for the delivery. Percival said she did contact the delivery company, which she also clarified she pays a monthly fee for in addition to any extra service fees. Percival added that her husband was extremely upset about what the delivery man had said to his wife and noted that the driver could simply have declined the order. Other online commenters lamented the exorbitantly high cost of having anything delivered these days and how delivery fees are likely driving down tip numbers. Okay, so they did this through DoorDash. Now, I was under the assumption that they actually did this from like an actual like pizza shop. So, but the thing is, I've had conversations with people who do DoorDash where on average, like if they do this for like a full-time like job in terms of like how much hours they actually put in and effort, they could clear anywhere from like 500 a week all the way up to like 3 grand a week, right? Now, obviously before expenses, before taxes, etc. But like I mean, there's a good like variety, like variance in terms of like what their pay is, but you technically could make a pretty good living from it, right? Now, again, after taxes and expenses, probably people are more likely going to be clearing maybe like a few $100 a week, like to their actual bank account after everything's said and done. But I have seen people and I have talked with people who have made really good money, like crazy money actually, from Uber or DoorDash and whatnot. But they did it as like a full-time job. They didn't like be lazy about it, and they were very smart in how they took the orders, right? Like you would take it in more affluent areas that had like a high concentration of people because you would end up getting higher tips on average, and the delivery times would be a lot shorter. Let's see. Pisses me off that my $18 order gets an additional service fee and a delivery fee that is not a tip. So by the time all is said and done with taxes and fees, with my tip, my $18 order is now $32, $35. Sucks for the workers, but these fees are hurting everyone but the corporations, wrote one Reddit user. And the crazy thing about a lot of these corporations, like for example, like DoorDash, Uber, all that kind of stuff, right? A lot of those companies don't actually make any profit. A lot of them are operating at like a negative like balance, and they are purely surviving from influx of like investor money and the increase of their stock price. So they could literally operate for like decades in the red, not really care about losing money, and just continue to operate, which is insane. So they really don't necessarily care what's going on the lowest level. I couldn't believe this last time I tried to delivery the pizza plus tax, then a $2.99 fee and a $4.99 fee, and they said neither of those were tips for the driver. It was going to be over $40 for a pizza, soda, and breadsticks. I ended up just driving to another restaurant out of spite, wrote another. See, like at that point, it'd probably be better to just like buy like a pizza or order a pizza from like a local pizza shop, go there, pick it up, maybe even leave like a nice like tip in like a tip jar and go out, and it'd still probably be like 50% cheaper, which is crazy. A third user questioned where the delivery fee goes if not to the driver. What other made up reason for such a fee could exist? Get a point. Let's see. $5 is 25%, which is a good tip. He thinks he should get more because these owners might be wealthy. Tip is based on the service and the total of the bill. Yeah, see, like I'm checking out these comments for those that are only listening to this. It's like the biggest thing that bothered me about this whole story, about this whole article, is just the entitlement of this guy. Like, it's just disgusting. It's like, oh yeah, because you got a nice house, you should tip me more. Like, ugh. Love the guy took the job knowing he may not get any tips. No one is obligated to tip. He needs to take his employer if he still has a job after this. Seriously, $5 is plenty. Turn your stupid ball cap around the correct way and it might be $5.25. Like, the thing is, well, people don't understand too. Like, this guy is complaining about a $5 tip, but that will basically boost your hourly rate a good amount, right? Like, let's say that he was like, he's doing DoorDash or whatever. Let's say that he was only making like $10 per hour, right? With no tips. Well, now that bumped up his hourly rate, right? So for that hour, maybe he got $15 as basically what he made within that hour. So like it just adds up. Like these small dollar amounts adds up. Just like when like you're trying to like maybe pay down debt, every time you spend money like at a gas station for like a drink, like a dollar drink, $2 drink, or Tostitos or whatever, that stuff adds up, right? If you get like a daily Starbucks, that adds up, right? To potentially hundreds of dollars a month that is going out of your account that you're not even really paying attention to. It goes the opposite way. If you're getting a few dollars extra, right, in the form of tips, there's a few extra hundreds of dollars potentially coming in that you weren't really even paying attention to. Like it just adds up, right? So like for example, this is a decent sized Red Bull that I got, right? This thing costs like $3.50 from like Walmart, right? Now I don't normally do that, like get this like every day or something like that. But let's say that I got this every single day, where I spent this every single day, right? So what? There's on average 30 days in a month times 350. So that would be $105 a month that I would be like just, draining out of my bank account for one drink, right? Just one drink, right? If I got this every day. And it's only $3.50, right? That adds up. So like let's say that he only got one $5 tip out of his whole day of working, right? So he made an extra $5 per day. Let's just say that, right? And he worked 7 days a week because you could probably even just do like an hour or 2 hours on like the weekends or whatever. Like let's just, for this example, say that he's working 30 days out of the month, right? So 30 days times $5, that's an extra $150 a month that he's not really paying attention to, that is just getting added to his account, right? Depending on his expenses, that might be his, electricity bill, that might be like a water bill, that might be some sort of insurance, that might be pet food, like this might be your groceries for like a week. Like, not to mention if you like got more than just $5 on average per day out of 30 days. Let's say that you actually got like $10 per day in terms of like a tip. So now it's like $300 per month. You could technically invest that amount, that extra amount, into like the S&P 500 every single month, and for like the next, like by the time that you retire, even working this type of job, you could technically retire a millionaire. Like that's how crazy this sort of thing actually is. And like I love basically checking this out, the compound interest calculator, just to do this as an example. So let's do the $5 example, $5 extra per day. So that's what, 150. So $150 for the initial investment, plus $150 every following month. Let's do the guy looked like in his like late 20s, early 30s. So retirement age is around like 66-ish. So let's just say 36 years. Estimated interest rate, it'd be about 8%. Interest rate variance can be about like 1. Compound frequency annually. Come on, calculate. So even just the $5 amount, right? In 36 years, he would have $339,179. Okay? Now let's bump this up to a monthly contribution of $300. Same time frame, right? Now it's $675,962.96. And that's not necessarily including anything else that he might add towards his retirement, which he should, right? Now, typically, you'd probably be doing this more so for like 40 years, not 36. So, if we do that to factor it in, this will bring him closer to that $1 million mark, which is what I was saying. So, in 40 years, you will have $935,862.15, just basically using your cash tips. And not even good cash tips is what I'm saying. This is like where you only got like $5 tip, like one $5 tip a day, right? Or a $10 tip a day, right? So this is the thing that like people just don't really understand. Like that $5 tip to the driver might seem small, but when you look at the bigger picture, when you actually like really think about the numbers and view it in terms of like the time frame, and if you were to actually invest that money, even though it's small, you could realistically actually become a millionaire, right? Because during this time, you probably also bought a home, so you have the equity in the home, plus your investments like this, plus any sort of other investments that you have in the form of retirement, like not including, the increase in like pay that you also get too. Like you could retire a millionaire just with an extra $5 to $10, maybe $20 a day, depending on your specific situation. So it just makes me sad that like people like this guy is just feels so entitled to just more money because the homeowner is doing well. It's like, dude, if you just took your life a little bit more seriously and was a little bit more respectful towards other people, you can make more money and regardless of what you're doing for a job, still retire very financially well off. By the way, just because someone has a nice home does not mean that they are actually doing okay financially, because there is such a thing called house poor. There's lifestyle inflation. So there's some people who are driving like Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces, but they're poorer than your next door neighbor who's driving like a beat up pickup truck, right? In terms of just like their net worth, because the guy with the beat up pickup truck might have his house paid off, has his car, well, his truck paid off, right? Probably has his 401k really capped out, has Roth IRA really capped out. Like he might be doing crazy well compared to the guy who's driving a Rolls Royce with like a mansion. That guy might not even have the ability to tip more than $10. So it's just something to think about. After you pay the delivery fee, you're expected to tip on top of it. That's why I don't bother with pizza delivery anymore. Most times when it's pizza night, I make my own. Tastes 100 times better, and it's hot and fresh. Yeah, exactly. This is my thoughts. Feel free to give your thoughts on this too. My biggest thing is why I wanted to cover this is like one, this guy is entitled, and even with a small amount of money per day, you could invest and be very financially well off later on.